Someone is about to make you feel like the most important person who has ever existed. That is the problem. It starts small, a message that arrives faster than it should, a compliment that lands too precisely, as if they had been studying you instead of meeting you. A person who seems to already understand you, on day 3, better than people who have known you for years. You call it chemistry. It is not chemistry. It is architecture. Psychologists have a name for this early flood of attention. Dorothy Tinoff, who spent years studying obsessive romantic attachment, called the state itself limerence, an intrusive, involuntary infatuation that can overtake rational thought. But what happens in the first 30 days of a love-bombing relationship is not involuntary at all. It is engineered to produce that exact feeling in you, on purpose, on a schedule. Think about the last time someone gave you everything at once. Attention, affection, certainty. It felt like winning. Didn't it feel like winning? Here is the trap. The intensity is not proof of love. It is a technique for accelerating trust past the point where your judgment would normally slow it down. Robert Cialdini, one of the most cited researchers in the psychology of influence, documented a principle called reciprocity. When someone gives you something, you feel an automatic, almost physical pull to give something back. A love bomber understands this instinctively, even without ever reading the research. They give you constant contact, extravagant words, grand gestures, gifts you did not ask for, and your mind, wired for fairness, starts looking for a way to repay it. That repayment usually comes in the form of trust, fast trust. Trust you have not earned the right to verify yet. Let's walk through how it actually unfolds, because the pacing is the whole mechanism. Day 1. Messages within minutes of each other, all day, every day. You wake up to one, you fall asleep to one. Your phone becomes a source of constant, low-grade anticipation. Day 5. I've never told anyone this before. A secret, shared too early, designed to make you feel chosen as if you alone have earned access to something hidden from the rest of the world. Day 12. Future plans. A trip, a shared apartment. Words like soulmate, when you barely know their middle name, their childhood, or how they behave when they don't get what they want. Day 20. The first small test arrives a joke that cuts a little too deep, a comment about someone you talk to, a flicker of jealousy dressed up as passion, small enough that you excuse it, small enough that walking away now would feel dramatic, even irrational. Day 30. You are in, not because you are foolish, because the pacing was designed for exactly this outcome, and you were never given the normal amount of time a person needs to notice a pattern. Clinical psychologist Craig Malkin, who has spent decades studying narcissism across a spectrum rather than as a single fixed trait, has written about how the most convincing manipulators are not the obvious ones. They are the ones who genuinely feel the intensity in the moment, which is precisely why you cannot detect the manipulation by watching for insincerity. There may be none in that instant. The manipulation is not in the emotion itself. It is in the pace and in the purpose hiding underneath it. Why does this work on intelligent, capable people? People who would never fall for an obvious scam? Who can spot a lie in a business deal from a mile away? Because love bombing does not target your intelligence. It targets your nervous system directly. Constant novelty and validation trigger the same reward circuitry involved in any form of intermittent reinforcement. Your brain is not being fooled by a lie you could reason your way out of. It is being flooded by a chemical reality that feels indistinguishable from genuine connection, because in the moment, for them, it may even feel real to them too. That is what makes this so difficult to explain to someone still inside their own first 30 days. You cannot simply tell them it is fake. It rarely feels fake from the inside. It feels like the best month of their entire life. So what actually distinguishes real early connection from engineered love bombing? What is the one signal that never lies? Real connection can tolerate a pause. It survives you taking 2 days to reply. It does not punish you for having a life before them, friends before them, a full evening that has nothing to do with them at all. Love bombing cannot tolerate slowness, because slowness gives your judgment time to catch up with your emotions, and judgment is the one thing the pace was designed to outrun from the very beginning. Watch the reaction to your boundaries, not the size of their gestures. A person offering real intimacy will slow down the moment you ask them to, without punishing you for asking. A person love bombing, you will treat your hesitation as a problem to be solved, usually with more intensity, not less. More texts, more declarations, more proof, when what you actually needed was less. Watch how fast the relationship becomes the main character of your entire life. Real intimacy adds itself to a life you already have. Love bombing tries quietly to replace that life, one canceled plan at a time. Watch for the secret shared too early, and notice what it is actually doing underneath the surface. It is not vulnerability in the way it presents itself. It is a shortcut past the vetting process every stranger should have to go through before earning access to your trust. None of this means every fast, intense connection is manipulation. Real chemistry exists. What it means is that intensity alone is never proof of anything in either direction. Proof comes from what happens when that intensity meets a boundary. Real people slow down when you ask. Manipulators escalate. If you're in your first 30 days with someone right now, you do not need to end anything to protect yourself. You need exactly one thing: time. Let time do the one job intensity is specifically designed to prevent. Let a full week pass without a grand gesture, and watch closely what remains underneath it. Let one small disagreement happen, and watch how they behave in the moment they don't get their way immediately. The people who love you correctly are never afraid of you slowing down. Slowing down costs them nothing if what they feel is real. The people love bombing you cannot survive it. Slowing down costs them everything because time is the one thing their entire method was built to deny you. Someone made you feel like the most important person who has ever existed. Now you know exactly why and exactly what to watch for the next time it happens to you.